Charlotte's booming, but is it too much? So Charlotte is booming, y'all. More people are moving here every single day, and I get it. It's a nice city. There's lots of opportunity. There's job growth. There's so many things to do here, but let's be real. Just like any other city, there are some red flags. And if you're thinking about moving here in 2025, there's some things you need to know. And you need to know what they are so that you can make a smart, stress-free move. Hey y'all, I'm Angel Mercer, a local real estate agent here in Charlotte, and I've helped dozens of families make the move here, and I'd love to help you next. So whether you're just starting to explore, if you're building new or looking for a second or third home, I'm your trusted guide. You can call or text me anytime at 980-263-9632 if you need anything, and I'll leave those details down in the description box below. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 red flags that most people overlook about Charlotte and how you can navigate them like a pro, whether you're relocating, upgrading, or just curious. This one's for you. So red flag number 1, Charlotte is not cheap anymore. All right, now let's talk about money because I don't want you to be caught off guard. Everyone seems to think that Charlotte is very affordable, and compared to cities like California or DC, it definitely still is. However, home prices here have skyrocketed. So in 2020, the average home in Charlotte sold for around $295K. In 2025, we're sitting right around $410K and climbing. That's over 30% increase in just a few years. I've had plenty of buyers very bothered about the fact that they can't find a home for $250K in some areas of town, and that just simply does not exist anymore. And that may have been the case 5 years ago, but there's something that happened 5 years ago, starting with the C word. So through the pandemic, this increase attributed to factors like strong job growth, population growth, and a tight housing market. And if you got here prior to that C word, the pandemic, you are set. But now you have to get in where you fit in. Okay? Those times have long gone. So get that out of your head right now. If I had a penny for every time someone wanted to be under 200K or 250K in South Charlotte, I'd be rich. Imagine falling in love with a neighborhood only to realize you're priced out of it just months later. It happens a lot. So I have a solution for you. You need to plan smart. You need to do your research. You need to understand current pricing. You need to stay flexible. You want to always think way more conservatively about how far your money will go here. If you think you want to find a house for $400K and you didn't do your research yet, your dream home is more than likely about $500 to $550K here. And that's where working with someone who knows this market inside and out really matters. All right, coming on down to red flag number 2, traffic and infrastructure can't keep up. All right, so here's the thing. Charlotte is growing faster than its roads can handle. I-485 at rush hour or 77 North when there's construction. The commute times are stretching. Even newer communities south in places like Indian Land or east in Concord are feeling the pressure. Even north in Mooresville, there is a huge bottleneck headed towards Troutman, which is more north of Charlotte. And we do have different transportation like the light rail, but expansion is very slow. So South Charlotte is still waiting on better options. Hopping on the 77 or 485 in the mornings, be ready to sit in traffic heading to work and on the way home. Sorry to say. And even in the evenings, if you're heading further out away from Charlotte, you will definitely hit a lot of traffic, specifically going north, west, and south. And I know that HOV lane is very tempting, which now are express lanes here, but they can be really costly. You get charged if you are driving solo. So each entrance point on the express lane has a different fee. So people using those lanes during peak commute times can expect to pay between anywhere from 14 to 40 cents per mile. Now that may seem really low and really cheap, but no, they add up pretty fast. And make sure you pay those fees on time or you will incur a hefty late charge. For the first invoice, there's no fee. but subsequent invoices will incur a $6 processing fee. A civil penalty of $25 is also added to the third invoice. So if you don't pay at all, your vehicle registration can be held by the DMV until the balance is settled. So don't get caught up in those HOV lanes. If you do, just have in the back of your mind, be prepared to pay at least $20 to $60. I had a business partner who had tolls over $1K fooling around with the HOV lanes out there. So, fun fact, the city approved over 60,000 new housing units in the last 3 years, but road widening and school expansion projects are lagging behind. Red flag number 3, childcare is not guaranteed. So if you're planning a move to South Charlotte or anywhere around the broader Charlotte area, finding daycare could be a headache and a challenge more than you can imagine or expect. So the reason why many daycares here have long wait lists, especially for infant and toddler care. So it's very important to plan ahead at least a year in advance. So why are these wait lists so common and so much in high demand? So South Charlotte is one of the fastest growing residential areas here in Charlotte. So with more families moving in, childcare demand often exceeds the supply. There's also limited capacity, especially for infants and toddlers. Most centers have strict capacity limits for safety and licensing reasons, of course. And everything is about location, location, location. So the more the area is popular, the higher the wait list. So daycares near major business hubs like Center City and Uptown tend to fill up even faster as parents prefer childcare closer to work. So tips for navigating the waitlist challenge. Number 1, you want to start early. Ideally, get on waitlist during your first trimester of pregnancy. I would even suggest right when you get pregnant, as soon as you find out you're pregnant. Yes, it really fills up that fast. So apply to multiple centers. Don't wait for one spot to open. Register at several daycares to increase your chances. I'm actually doing that right now at our after school care for my 5-year-old. So expect longer waits. So just be mentally prepared. When you're prepared, when you know better, you do better. Some lists move quickly, while others can take months or even longer. So some centers offer priority spots for siblings or company partnerships, or if you've already been there at the daycare, like you're grandfathered in. But just consider temporary care options. So while you're on a wait list, look into alternatives like family help, nanny shares, or temporary centers through networks like Bright Horizons. And you just want to remember and understand each center's policy. So every daycare operates differently. Make sure you know about registration, fees, deposits, and priority policies before committing. And you want to make sure you stay organized and communicate. You want to keep track of your applications. You want to check in regularly and update your contact information with each center. Bottom line, in Charlotte, early planning is key. It gives you peace of mind when it comes to childcare. So if you need any local recommendations as you plan your move, I'm happy to connect with you with some trusted resources. We're headed into red flag number 4. Property taxes are creeping up. One thing a lot of people don't factor into their monthly payment is property taxes. And guess what? In Mecklenburg County, aka most of Charlotte, property taxes reassess every 4 years. So in 2023, many homeowners saw their assessments jump by 50% or more. And that trend isn't slowing down, unfortunately, because so many people move here a day. Fact, Charlotte's tax rate is about 0.974%, but the key number is your home's reassessed value. And with prices climbing, expect your taxes to follow. So imagine budgeting perfectly for your mortgage only to have your tax bill jump $200 a month. It stings, and it's happening right now. So going in, when you're prepared, that's even better. Always build a cushion in your monthly budget for rising property taxes, especially if you're buying new construction or in an area seeing a lot of growth. But it's okay. I mean, we live here, we moved here 6 years ago. Our property taxes increased. You just make it work and you just figure it out. Red flag number 6, moving without a plan is a recipe for regret. As you can see, all the things I've listed in the previous red flags you see without a plan or research, it can bottle out really fast. So this is the most important red flag of all, and it's the one that gets overlooked the most So many people move here to Charlotte with this dream of more space, better weather, lower taxes, the Southern charm. Now, all of that exists, but the city is way more diverse and complex than people think. I've had buyers who drove all the way down from New York City, determined to find something in a week. 3,000 square foot home, huge yard, basement, South Charlotte, below 400K. So let's just say they did not find that exactly, but something similar. What I tell buyers is to keep an open mind and increase your budget and do research, research, research. Now, you'd feel at home to have a routine that fills your cup, to move not just into a house, but into a lifestyle that supports you. And thankfully, and fortunately, that's what I help people do. And it's why I never let my clients just wing it ever. Red flag number 5, new construction is not always the dream. Now, everybody loves new, and Charlotte is full of shiny new communities. But let's be real, not all new construction is created equal. Even worse, with some private builders, buyers have been left with unfinished homes and legal battles. You don't want to be that one. For example, there's some Charlotte homeowners that faced huge losses when custom builders failed to complete projects properly here. The builders were accused of pulling mortgage draws without actually paying subcontractors or providing the promised construction work. This left families with half-finished homes and liens on the property. So just remember, if you want to go with the custom builder, make your research. But that is what I'm here for, to help you discover and do your due diligence so that nothing is a surprise or falls through the cracks. True Homes offers a build on your lot, custom build plan, so that is an option. Red flag number 6, flooding risks are getting real. Let's talk about something else that a lot of relocation buyers overlook, and that's flood risk. Yes, Charlotte has beautiful creeks, rivers, and greenways, but about 10% of properties here have a moderate flood risk. So specific areas prone to flooding include Little Sugar Creek through Dilworth and near Uptown, East Boulevard near Queens Road West, Midtown Park at Pearl Parkway, Cordelia Park, and just low-lying streets and areas near greenways, parts near Mountain Island Lake, which is connected to the Catawba River. So nearly 20,000 acres in Mecklenburg County are designated floodplains, touching over 20,000 parcels of land. Charlotte faces both pluvial, which is surface flooding, and fluvial, which is river flooding risk, especially after heavy rains. So flash flooding is a real concern, especially around older infrastructure and creek-adjacent neighborhoods. During that recent Hurricane Helene, flooding in parts of Sugar Creek definitely rose pretty high due to the storm. So always, and this is something I have a habit of doing, is check the FEMA flood maps. Some areas will require flood insurance, and even if they don't, it might still be smart to have it. So the good news is, Charlotte is investing heavily in flood mitigation, buying floodplain properties, expanding greenways, and restricting new builds in risk zones. But knowing before you buy is key. And at last but not least, let's talk about HOA fees. In Charlotte, HOA fees can be surprisingly steep, especially in newer townhome and condo communities. Even in the older communities, HOA fees can be pretty high. And sometimes the high HOA fee can actually price you out of your pre-approval letter from your lender. The typical range is anywhere from $250 to $700 per month, and in upscale properties, even higher. So why is that, you might ask? So larger or older properties often have bigger maintenance costs. Amenities like pools, gyms, clubhouses, and dog parks drive fees up. Professional management companies add a layer of expense as well. Now, nobody wants to fall in love with a home, then realize the monthly HOA fee is way more than their car payment. Always ask for HOA documents and budgets up front, and review what's included and what can increase over time. This is something I also do for my clients when we're looking at condos and townhomes. So working with me, you don't have to worry about that. I'll help do that for you. If you're moving to Charlotte or thinking about it, I want you to move smart, not scared. I want you to be prepared. I don't want you to be surprised. Yes, there are red flags, but there are also incredible opportunities, neighborhoods that feel like home, and a real sense of community here, if you know where to look. I work with buyers, sellers, and relocation clients every week, and my goal is simple: to help you love where you land. So if you're ready to explore your next move or just need some clarity, please text or call me at 980-263-9632 or check the description box below for more ways to connect. Now let's make your Charlotte story a good one. I got you. I'll see you in the next video.